If you haven't been living under a rock, you may have noticed that we have had an abundance of Lies of P previews, trailers, and impressions from the media. For a moment there, I was thinking, they're showing a bit too much on this game, from the weapons, to the bosses, to the actual gameplay. But after playing Lies of P for about 20 hours now, I can say those previews barely scratched the surface. And even more importantly, Lies of P satisfies that desire for a Bloodborne-like experience, and then some. I can honestly say I don't think I need a Bloodborne 2 after playing Lies of P. It not only scratches that Bloodborne itch, it cures it. Excuse my language, but Lies of P is f***ing beautiful. Character and enemy designs, their behaviors, the locations and environments, the music, the atmosphere, even the sound effects. And of course, the combat and the gameplay. I've been playing on the best settings on my 4070 and it's smooth as butter and just a knockout to freaking look at. This game is full of quality, you guys, and that is an understatement. And if you know me, you know I don't necessarily need an amazing story, but Lies of P actually has me listening intently. Without spoiling anything really on the story, I'll just say this, it's good. It's actually good. I'm intrigued the more and more I play, talking to the NPCs as much as possible, just to gain some more insight onto what is going on. And most importantly, talking to Geppetto, who continuously reminds me and wants me to be a good boy. And we all know that Geppetto is the one that created Pinocchio, but he also created many of the other puppets in the story, and something has them kind of going crazy. So exploring the story and learning about the situation gets very interesting, and there's a clear motive and reason we are exploring and doing what we have to do in the game. So for those who wanted a story in a Soulsborne, you got one. The most important thing though, of course, is the gameplay, so let's talk about it. During the demo, we noticed that the dodge mechanic felt a bit sluggish, remember? Well, the developers, they fixed it. They heard us and they fixed it. And it was really apparent that they fixed it when I fought the boss that I fought in the demo. I faced him again in the full game, and I really had no problem dodging like I did before. So the developers really weren't kidding around when they said that they fixed it, because it feels fluid, extremely polished, and most of all, fun to play. The combat, it's very challenging and also rewarding, much like any other good Soulsborne, but Lies of P really makes you feel like you did something. Like when you survive by the skin of your teeth, it's like you're at the edge of your seat just trying to get through. And I've definitely been having those experiences, just trying to get to that bonfire, or in this case, the Stargazer, with very little health and just holding my breath. The attacks, they feel very impactful, the perfect parries are satisfying, and the dance between me and the enemies never really gets old. I find myself getting wrecked whenever I take an enemy lightly. They may look weak, but they pack really big punches, and they will punish you if you're greedy. And in case you're wondering about play styles, there's a good variety of weapons in which you can level up. You can also change the handles on your swords and your other weapons, and also in combination with your puppet arm, you can really mix up the gameplay. And not only that, but you can use the environment to help you as well. Check this out, for example. This really adds a uniqueness to Lies of P that we didn't find in other games. Using that puppet arm is just so important, and as different enemies have their own sets of moves and all of that, your arm can really be used to combat those different variety of moves. I don't want to gloss over the enemies that fast, because this may be one of the, if not the best, in enemy designs when it comes to a Soulslike. They're designed so beautifully and have such a creepiness in them too. There's something about puppets that go haywire and want to turn on humans that just has a creepiness and eeriness to it. The way they move, the way they sound, the way they're aggroed, and how they attack is just so immersive and really well done. We can't gloss over the bosses either, the way they're designed, the presentation of the boss fights in terms of the cutscenes, how I walk into the boss fight like this. It's just so stylish, makes me feel like a boss too, like I'm coming in to wreck. You know, like it's just so good. It's just so stylish. It's the presentation for me when it comes to everything. The cutscenes, the story, the characters, how they look, how the bosses look, how everything's just intertwined and how it's presented is just so good. As for the game loop, it's very familiar. You're traveling to new areas, much like a Souls-like game, unlocking shortcuts. The level design is also very connected and intertwined. The hub area, which is called the Karat Hotel, is where you can catch up with the waifu of the game, Sophia, and she is the one you're going to go to level up. There's also some NPCs in the hotel that will help you with leveling up your weapons, selling your items, and also tweaking and upgrading your puppet arm. This all looks very familiar, doesn't it? The puppet arm is really the tool that makes Lies of P so unique. As you progress the game, you'll be able to craft different abilities, and by using the puppet arm in combat, it really opens up the gameplay. I especially love the puppet string because you can make situations like this much easier. Using the environment to take out enemies is also a nice detail. And that's really the tactic to learn in this game, is using this puppet arm in situations like this to your benefit and to make different encounters easier. Here's some other things that make Lies of P unique in the Souls genre. Jiminy Cricket, we all know him, right? The cricket that tags along with Pinocchio. He's actually in your back pocket, and he will let you know about interesting details in the game, something you may have missed, the significance of some location that you might visit, and he doesn't talk a lot. It's not like it's a Navi situation in Zelda where he's like, hey, listen, every 5 minutes. When Jiminy does speak, it's important and it actually matters to the story, and it gives some insight onto things you don't know yet. The health in the game is also very different because when you block an enemy and it's not perfect, your health will temporarily run down, as you can see here. It's kind of a brown color, and this lets you know that if you attack the enemy promptly after, you will get that health back. However, if you are hit again, you will lose it. So it gives you a chance to make up what you lost. Kind of Bloodborne-ish if you think about it. Remember that the enemies, though, they do have the same chance. So when their health runs down a bit, that lets you know that they can get their health back as well. There's also this staggering of the enemy you can do when enough damage is done to them and their posture. You can sometimes be prompted to do major damage by holding R2 and doing a heavy attack. You can see here when their health bar goes white, that's when it's time to hit with that heavy attack, and they will go down, which you can then follow up with an R1 attack and do a devastating move. This move is so important with many of the boss fights, and the window can be easily missed, which adds some more difficulty. Ergo is the game's currency, much like Souls. And a nice little detail about it is that it will change color when you have enough to level up. You can see here in the top right corner, it just let me know I have enough now to level up once. Also, it lets you know how much is waiting for you after death and when you want to go pick them up. Very nice quality of life details here. I also noticed that when it comes to buying items to level up weapons, it will show what level it goes up to. That's very nice as well. I wanted to mention these unique differences as well as some quality of life details because to me it shows that the developers took the Souls formula and the examples of the Souls-likes of the past and built upon them. And they're essentially making the genre feel less archaic and actually better. Listen, I'm not one to say this often, okay, but this could be the one. The Soulsborne that really just awes us because I already feel that way, you guys. I feel that way. I feel like I'm in love with this game. I can't praise it enough as it is right now. So far, so good. I'm not done with the game, but but I'm very happy about it. This is very much Erica's approved, so if you are looking forward to Lies of P, I highly recommend picking it up. If you're a Bloodborne fan, it's a must play. If you're a Souls-like fan, it is a must play. And if you just like really good games that look beautiful like this, go play it, okay? So that's my impressions. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are excited about Lies of P, you have my permission to get even more excited, and I stand by that. Erica's approved, all right? Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.